Hello everybody, this is Evan Rogers. We are looking at a Yomiuri Shimbun Kodomo news article. This is actually a little bit higher than the NHK news articles, but I figured we were getting sick of talking about the coronavirus. So we have Kokujin Dansei Shibo de Demo. This is an article about the recent demonstration, protest, and or rioting and looting that's going on in America, or has been going on. And it says it's for kids. It says the Kodomo Shimbun, but this is a lot of high-level kanji without any furigana. I guess they assume kids can read it. And it's pretty serious. It's funny because some of the other articles in there are like, this is like the Battle of Chocolates and stuff like this. Then there's riots in America. Anyway, that's what we're talking about. Before we begin, I have made a flashcard deck, so you will be able to study all of these crazy kanjis that are in here. Not all of them, but the vast majority of them. And I have some images lined up for when they show up so you can see the slight differences. There are a few words in this article that are different, or that are just slightly different. They all seem to mean about the same thing, and I figured I should get that ready for you. That being said, this takes a lot of time and effort to do. To make all those flashcards took 30 minutes. Getting all this ready to prepare takes time as well. Editing takes time, and I would appreciate it if you could support me. We got Patreon or direct donation down below in the video description. And on top of that, if you're just like, listen, Evan, honestly, I don't need what you got in Patreon. I don't like Patreon, but I still want to get something for my donation. I am beginning to make designs off of Teespring. I can't link them below like other channels do because I don't have 10,000 subscribers. So get all of your friends to subscribe, and then you can just see all this stuff on there. I chose the leggings because honestly, I think these are some really cool leggings. Like, if I were a girl, I would totally be wearing those. This is the Kokorozashi. It means will, and I got a whole bunch of stuff that you can buy if you want to, whatever Teespring allows. I chose that kanji because it's so cool. You can read all about it here. I will put the link in the description below, and just to make sure that we understand this, I have made these about as cheap as they can go, so you're just sending me one. The only profit I'm getting is like $1 or $2. The rest is all Teespring, and the reason why I did that was A, so you guys could actually afford them, and 2, because honestly, it's just so that you guys can afford them. I mean, the prices I thought were pretty ridiculous. Like, they wanted me to charge you $45 for a hoodie. I was like, no, I think $28 is fine. Yeah, this is the premium one. Yeah, this is the one that was going to be $50, and then I got it down to 35. That's about as cheap as I can make them. I will stop ranting. Let's get started. I feel bad that I'm saying that on this article. Kokujin Nansei Shibo de Demo. All right, we have Kokujin. This is black people. I would say it's African American, but that's not really what it means. It means black. Sorry. I mean, it literally is the kanji for black and person. So if black people offends you, not black people offend you. I mean, if the term, am I in trouble? if the term black person offends you, sorry, that's literally what it means. In Japan, they have black people from all other countries that aren't just, native born people with black skin whose families long ago came from Africa via whatever system it came through, maybe slavery. But they have people who have moved from, Zimbabwe and stuff over there. Okay, so anyway, then they have Dansei. Dansei is male, man, not a male man, but a M-A-L-E and or a M-A-N. We're talking about a person who is male, which I guess could have two meanings as well. Shibo is to die. This is death. This is die. The first kanji itself means die. Shibo is maybe more along the lines of deceased. And then de by means of demo. This is because Japanese is slowly becoming English. Demo means demonstration, protests, things like that. Okay, I'll try not to editorialize too much unless I see something that's a little bit wrong here, which there is a little bit I want to talk about. It's important because we're in this tumultuous times, and I feel like people are going a little bit nutso with things, and they're not quite keeping things logical. So don't worry, I won't do too much. But let's have some fun. or let's have some fun. What am I talking about? That's a horrible thing to say. Let's translate. Again, this is difficult. This is higher than the NHK Kids or Easy News articles, especially vocabulary. So far, the grammar actually doesn't look that difficult. The vocabulary, though, is very difficult, which is why I'm surprised this is going to children. I don't know why the Yomiuri Shimbun is sending this to kids. Sorry about the banner up here. I couldn't block it, or I probably could, but I was afraid of what it might do. Let's get started. Oh, there's no Romaji. I just want to, sorry, not Romaji, Furigana. So, again, if you listen to what I'm saying, and the Furigana will be in the Quizlet set. Here we go. アメリカ中西部ミネソータ州のミニアポリスという都市で、白人警官に組み伏せられた黒人男性が死亡する事件が起き、警察に対する激しい抗議デモが起こってます。That is all one sentence. Alright. I want to point this out. This is 中西部. Notice that this is normally pronounced sai. So again, memorizing kanji readings is pointless. Not entirely, but if you're sitting there looking at a kanji and you're like, that can mean naka, that can mean chu, that can mean sai, that can mean sei, like, there's just a billion. So just learn them in context. And here it's pronounced as say. So, 中西部. America 中西部. This is the Midwest portion. So the Midwest of America, and that's describing without a no particle or anything. Minnesota 州. That means state. The state of Minnesota, that's up by Wisconsin, around the Great Lakes for all those of you outside of the country. Minnesota 州のMinneapolis という都市で. Okay, so this is a city called Minneapolis. You've probably heard of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And if you haven't, it's northwest of where I live. It's in the north. It's kind of like in the north middle of America. So for those of you outside of America, the Midwest doesn't mean what you might think it means. The Midwest actually only goes to about the Mississippi River. If you don't know the Mississippi River, you have to understand the Midwest got its name before America had anything beyond west of, the Mississippi River. The Midwest actually was a very early term compared to the 13 colonies. They didn't realize that California was way the heck out there. I think they didn't know that America was that wide at that time. So they named it the Midwest, and then they realized, oh wow, there's like double the distance, so we should not have used the West. It's actually like if you take America, divide it in half. I don't know which way is your right or your left, so sorry if I get this wrong. If you take America, cut it in half, north-south, the Midwest is actually to the east of that line for the most part. So Ohio's in the Midwest, and so is Minnesota. Anyway, sorry, that's just for you outsiders out there. In a city called Minneapolis, in the state, in the American Midwest, is kind of how we have to translate this. Notice the de particle is telling us a location of action. Hakujin keikan. Keikan is, hakujin is white person. It literally means white person. People will translate this as Caucasian, but my understanding is that there's like numerous quote-unquote races of white people, so Caucasian is one of them. And this isn't exactly the best definition. Just translate as white person. I mean, let's be honest, we're judging people by the color of their skin anyway. I mean, I know we shouldn't, but we do. Sorry, reality. Hakujin keikan. Keikan means police officer, so a white police officer. Ni kumifuseru. This is kumifuserareta. This is the passive of the verb kumifuseru. This is to pin someone down. Okay, so with the passive entered into the equation, it would be the ni particle tells us by whom somebody was pinned down. Notice the passive. It's not X pins down Y, it's Y was pinned down by X. And so, Hakujin keikan ni, by a white police officer, the subject which has yet to be mentioned was pinned down. Notice the past tense, was pinned down. Kumifuseru, this is the card. Here is an illustration of that. I was hesitant to search this and show you images, but I checked all of these, and even with safe search off on Brave, on the DuckDuckGo search, things don't get too risque. Anyway, you can see people getting pinned down, especially judo or, I don't know, I guess some mom who's mad at her kid, it looks like. Poor kid. And that's what's going on. That is kumi fuseru. And then the passive is kumi fuserareta. So this is hakujin keika ni kumi fuserareta kokujin danse. This is finally the subject. This is a black male who was pinned down by a white police officer in the city of Minneapolis. And that's the subject of the sentence, ga shibo suru jiken ga oki. All right, so this is shibo suru, died. So the kokujin dansei ga shibo suru. The kokujin dansei, then after that, so notice how it's not past tense, it's after that, died. And that is, from English's perspective, it's died. From the Japanese perspective, it's after being pinned down, he then died later. And then jiken. So this is a situation, an occurrence, an event, a happening. People in Japan like to use that in English. Ga oki. This is the verb for okiru. Here it does not mean to awaken or wake up. It means something happened. An event took place. An event woke up, so to speak. So, a terrible situation where a black man died after being pinned down by a white police officer. A situation like that occurred in the city of Minneapolis in the Midwest of America. Okay, so oki, this isn't the te form. It's actually the stem, but it's functioning like the te form. For those of you following me on Gab, where I'm translating the Bible, that is what I'm doing. This happens frequently. So here, this is oki. It's functioning like okite. So this event having occurred, 警察に対する激しい抗議デモが起こってます. And once again, we have the same 起こってる, 起きる, happening. This is actually a different verb, 起こってる, 起こります, 起こる, and yet it has essentially the same meaning as 起きます, 起きる. If you look them up in the dictionary, you'll see that they both mean essentially an event takes place. Alright, so, what takes place? 警察に対する, so this 対する is in opposition to whatever comes before it, the police, in opposition to the police, 激しい抗議デモが起こってる. So, demonstrations have erupted against the police. What kind of demonstrations are they? They are 抗議, protest demonstrations. I don't know, are there any demonstrations that are pro things, I guess? I guess there could be. Hageshi, violent and or severe or intense. Something like that. In a city called Minneapolis, in the state of Minnesota, in the American Midwest, demonstrations, protest demonstrations, violent and or intense protesting demonstrations have occurred against the police. Anti-police demonstrations have occurred. Have awoken in the city. And then this is almost giving the reason why, with a situation, with an event taking place, with something happening, with the situation of the death of a black man having been pushed down and pinned by not pushed down. This is more being pinned, being pinned by a white police officer. Okay, there we go. I can finally unhighlight that. Very difficult sentence, but basically, this works better in two sentences in English. In the American city of Minneapolis, in the American Midwest, in the state of Minnesota, a black man was pinned down by a white cop, and he died. Then the jiken ga okote, with this event taking place. This is Japanese. They describe everything as a jiken. Not everything, but in situations like this is jiken. 警察に対する激しい抗議デモが起こってます。And with that taking place, anti-police violence / intense protest demonstrations erupted are now happening. It's either have erupted or are currently happening. Either translation's fine. If I'm not mistaken, this was written on June 4th, a few days ago. Sorry to interrupt my own video, but it turns out that video was about 45 minutes long, so I'm going to break this up into chunks. Have yourself a happy dappy day. Peace out.